Good morning. What a day. Early call today. We are currently moving to a new house, lots of extra work, but I still want to get a practice session in. So I'm on my way to the rehearsal room. And today I'm going to switch to Axis pedals, Axis A shortboards. I'm going to switch from the Tama Iron Cobra Juniors. And the reason is today I want to push the tempo a little bit. So I want to push up to 210, maybe 220. And yes, of course, you can play that fast with the Tama Iron Cobra pedals as well. But when it comes to direct drive pedals, you just need less energy. And I'm gonna switch to those pedals, trying to stay as relaxed as possible. When it comes to bass drum pedals, I like to compare different bass drum pedals or different pedal brands to characters in a computer game. So, when I was growing up, my first console was the Nintendo 64, and we had games like Mario Kart and Snowboard Kids. So I think I'm gonna name this episode Snowboard Kids. I'm gonna call this one Snowboard Kids. So let's stick to Snowboard Kids, because I prefer that one over Mario Kart. I think the main character was called Slash, and in Snowboard Kids you have every character has different strengths and weaknesses. Strength would be that the character is driving really fast, or another strength would be that it's easy to accelerate and gain speed with that character, and so on. And if you compare this to pedals, actually it's almost the same. If you take a pedal like the Tama Iron Cobra Junior pedals, those are really easy to control at every tempo. But it takes way more work and effort to play them at higher tempos. Comparison to Axis pedals would be a character that's able to drive really fast, but that's really hard to control. So with Axis pedals, once you got those pedals going, it's easy to play at higher tempos for longer periods of time. It takes less effort. But actually, those Axis pedals are really, really difficult to control. Starting in time, stopping in time. If you're using triggers, really you got to be careful to not get those annoying double trigger sounds and so on. So that's my comparison when it comes to those two. Today we're going to switch to Axis pedals, and later on I'm also going to talk about the Axis pedal setting that made it really easy for me to learn the ankle technique in the past. And maybe those of you that also own Axis pedals can try this one as well. So I'm going to see you in a minute at the drums. So back at the drums. So for today, again, it's going to be a short practice session, so less than 30 minutes. I'm going to start at 160. Which is quite a high tempo, actually, as a warm-up tempo. But with the Axis pedals, the way I set them up with the VDL all the way back. And when it comes to Axis pedals, I prefer the A series, because the A series has the VDL, and I prefer the position of the VDL all the way to the back. They also have the X series, but again, I prefer the A series. And with the VDL all the way back and just the right amount of spring tension, and the right amount for me means the right amount for my body weight, and to be precise, the weight of my upper and lower leg resting on the pedal when I'm lifting my heel like this. Upper leg is relaxed, just lifting my heel, static contraction of my calves. This is the perfect spring tension for me in combination with this beta angle and the VDL all the way to the back. So, when it comes to 160, all I'm doing is basically I'm placing my foot on the footboard, I'm raising my heel, I'm starting to bounce the beta or move the beta back and forth. That's pretty much it. So 160 is going to be my warm-up. And then after that, actually, I'm going to switch to 190 right away. So 5 minutes at 160. 5 minutes at 190, then 5 minutes at 200, 5 minutes at 210, and if possible, if I'm feeling good, 5 minutes at 220, and that's it. Then we're gonna call it a day. Starting from 190, actually, I'm not going to focus on playing for long periods of time. I'm going to maybe play double bass for 1 or 2 bars straight at max, focusing on relaxing my left leg as much as possible. I don't want to store any bad habits to my muscle memory. And like I mentioned previously, I feel that my ankle is compensating and changing a bit just because I have this decreased range of motion still. So that's my focus for today. I don't want to change my technique because it proved to be successful and it proved to work really well in the past. So I just want to get back to that. Okay, enough. Let's start at 160. So done with 160, that felt good already. One big difference, again, between the axis, back to the snowboard kids analogy. The pedal is doing most of the work for me right now, and it feels really relaxing, and I don't have to do a lot to just keep the beat swing going. But on the other hand, I really have to focus on starting and stopping in time. And when it comes to starting and stopping, basically all I'm doing is I'm lifting my heels. This is my ready position before I start to play double bass. With the ankle technique starting like this, the heel on the floor, it is possible, but it's really difficult. So this would be your ready position to start in time. When it comes to stopping, I see myself, when I know that I got a long break coming up after double bass section, I see myself dropping my heel back to the floor, to the footboard again, like this. But when I know that a fast double bass pattern is coming up, then I still keep my heel in this position after I stop playing. Look something like this. This way you're just always in the ready position. It's just easier. So that's just a small little detail there. And yeah, it just takes more focus and attention to start and stop in time with these pedals. So always, you see, you got benefits, like strengths and weaknesses of each pedal. All right, now let's continue with 190, 5 minutes at 190 beats per minute. And yeah, I'm gonna focus on short patterns, playing double bass for 1 or 2 bars, maybe some single foot blast beats, leading with the right foot, then leading with the left foot, and so on. Done with 190. Yeah, actually that felt quite good. I think at one point I played double bass for 4 bars straight, and actually I'm consciously looking at my left foot all the time because I want to be really careful to not store any bad habits to my muscle memory. Because again, sometimes it feels like my left foot is trying to change technique or is looking for another foot position, and I just have to get used to this range of motion of my heel again. It's still smaller than compared to my right ankle, but we are getting there. And I'm still feeling relaxed, so I don't have to work hard at 190. It's the pedal doing most of the work for me. All right, let's continue with 200 BPM. 200 felt good as well, so really happy with that one. Let's go to 210. If 210 is also relaxed, then we're going to play at 220. If not, then actually I'm going to call it a day. I don't really have to push too far. 210 is more than I was able to play previously, so if 210 is fine, then I'm happy with that as well. So 210 beats per minute. that's it for 210 beats per minute. Yeah, and just as I was hoping for, this one was relaxed. Didn't really have to focus on the left foot too much. Actually, right now, and this is the first time this has happened, is that my left foot starts to go back to normal. Funny thing is, it goes back to normal, like the old way I used to play, and the old foot position I always used in the past at higher tempos. At slower tempos, it seems that I have to focus a lot to get back to where I was before. I'm talking about tempos 160, 170 to 190. But like right now at 210, it was like, okay, that's muscle memory kicking in, luckily. So that felt really good. Beta swing was okay. Left beta swing is a little bit smaller than the right one, but I'm still happy with that one. And maybe you've seen it when I increased the tempo from 200 to 210. And actually every time I increase the tempo, but it's really, you can see it really well at that jump from 200 to 210. I'm changing the position of my foot on the footboard and I'm moving more to the front, because starting from 210, it's just way easier to control the axis pedals and play in time if your feet are further to the front. For the slower tempos, of course, like at 160, my foot is all the way back, and I already noticed that when I'm playing at 140, 150 and 160, my foot is back here, and actually I can see almost all of the axis logo right here when I place my foot on the footboard, even though I'm using short board. So it is possible to control the pedal like this. Slower tempos, but at higher tempos, if you want to stay relaxed, then it's way easier to move your foot further to the front. Foot is moving in sync with the pedal, and it's just way faster. So enough of that. 210 is done. Now let's go to 220. Let's try 220 for 5 minutes. Again, it's going to be short bursts of double bass, single foot blast beats, and maybe 1 or 2 bars of non-stop double bass. That's it. If I'm not relaxed, or if I feel that my left ankle starts to hurt, then I'm going to stop right away. Done with 220 beats per minute. Yes, it felt okay, but actually I don't want to push any further right now, because I can still feel some tension in my left ankle. It's still not what it used to be. It's just the way it is. And I prefer to play as relaxed as possible while I'm practicing, just getting back into the rhythm of things and getting back to playing relaxed at high tempos. Yeah, this was an okay practice session. Not outstanding and not bad, just like a regular day at the office, getting those reps in. And enough for today. 25 minutes, we are done. I'm gonna take care of my emails, and then it's time to head back home. So, time to go home. Another solid practice session. Not outstanding, but it was pretty solid. I'm pretty happy with that one. Cool thing about axis pedals and the way they are set up right now is that even, sometimes my left foot, again, it still kind of stops working from time to time. So I'm missing one hit on one time, moving my heels up and down. But with the axis pedals, actually, this doesn't translate onto the bass drum, because the pedal with the beta swing just keeps on going. And when I'm starting to move my left foot again, I'm just locking in with the metronome again, and it's fine. So, which is something that doesn't work with the Tama Iron Cobra Junior pedals, but with Axis, that's perfectly fine. So it was an okay practice session. Got some of my speed and also confidence back, but still a long way to go. 220 to 300, those 80 BPM, that's a lot. But we will get there within the next couple of weeks or months. When it comes to pedals, actually, a funny story is, we have one drummer at the academy. His name is David. He's from Austria as well. And he struggled with learning the ankle technique for like weeks. Week after week, he posted videos. He was struggling. He got the basic technique down with his feet. He had that one. He was just using his calves, but the beta swing was extremely slow. And then at one point, I talked to him via Zoom, and we found out that actually his pedals he was using really old pearl pedals, not even eliminator, really, really old pedals, actually messed up pedals. The pedals didn't help him out at all. So basically he had to do all of the work himself, and it was just really difficult for him to get that beta swing going. And after our Zoom call, he went to his local music store, tested different pedals. You know, I never like to give pedal recommendations to someone, so buy this pedal and that's the one that's perfect for you. You have to test this yourself, and he did that. He went to a local music store, tested different pedals, and he bought the Yamaha pedal, the high-end Yamaha pedal for like, I think 600 euros. That's the price of that one. Super happy with that one, and I'm not kidding you, like 2 weeks later I was like, okay, now he got it. Beta swing is like, he got that big beta swing, he got that control, and now it's all, of course it's way more fun to practice that way and to play that way. And also now we got those results, which is awesome. So to end this video, my advice to everyone, just like me, you know, if you're not super happy with your pedals, I don't recommend to constantly switch pedals, but if your pedal is really old and messed up, then just testing out new pedals and at your local music store and find out if it's the pedal or if it's you and your technique, that can make a massive difference. But of course, don't take this as like a quick trick or hack. If you play bad, if you suck, then you suck. It's just the way it is. And then it's your technique and you can improve on that one. So that's fine as well. But be honest to yourself, and if it's the pedal, then yeah, give a different pedal and maybe a newer model, maybe a direct drive or a belt drive a try, and maybe this will make the difference. Alright, that's it for today. I'm heading back home. I wish you all a great day. Thanks for watching. Cheers from Vienna. Bye bye.